we said at the very beginning of our conversation, how a lot of people don't believe what they're looking at. They don't believe that the drawing has been made with a typewriter. And it was the same for me. When I saw his work, I thought, wow, this is impossible. How's he done this? And it was that curiosity, printing out pictures of his work, blowing them up to larger scales and studying them and trying to work out how he was doing this, because there was very little information about how he was actually producing the work. And so for me, it was a case of, it was a bit like an investigation to try and work out how he was puzzle piecing letters, numbers, punctuation marks together to recreate subjects on the page. And it's a really interesting thing, typewriter art, because there's an illusion of detail to it. So when you look at the drawings from a distance, they look like they could have been printed, or they were photographs, or maybe pen and ink drawings. Yeah. It's only when you draw in and you get closer and closer, you start to notice that you're seeing lots of letters, overlapping numbers that have been puzzle pieced together with punctuation marks. And it's just such an interesting medium, because you're sort of working within the limitations of something that has no more than 40 keys. So that's all you have. You've got obviously letters, numbers, punctuation marks. That's all you have. And so you're kind of trying to work around these parameters, this limited palette, to be able to produce a drawing and be able to tackle a portrait, and also make the portrait, whether it's a loved one or a celebrity or a musician, make them look realistic, and convincing enough.
Do you put little secret messages in your work?
Yeah, I do. So it didn't cross my mind for about 3 or 4 years. For me, it was about, for a long time, it was me trying to hone my skills to create the best artwork, from this device, and less about necessarily making something that had a more of a creative underlying meaning to the work. So I wasn't too worried about it. I just wanted to hone my skills at being able to reproduce scenes for a very long time. But over the last sort of 4 to 5 years, I've kind of started to expand on the subject matter of the work. So yes, you might be looking at an architectural scene, but there are things actually happening in the scene, and it will take more than one attempt for the viewer to kind of understand what's happening. So